It is double header night tonight. That's going to be one crazy night as well. It's here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Welcome to the Racing Line Network. Welcome to the Full Send Racing Series, season number 7. Shockingly, a track that the league has not yet been to this season, so we won't even be able to bring you any previous race winners because they don't exist. This is the first time that the league has come to this circuit. And what a way to make a debut at this circuit as well. Practice is just about to end, qualifying is about to start, and we'll show you the starting grid in due time. But tonight is going to be absolutely crazy, and hopefully you stick along for the ride and enjoy the utter craziness that is definitely going to occur throughout the 200 laps that we have in store. So here's how tonight is going to go. Not only is it a double header night in the sense of 2 races tonight, we also have an inversion for the second race of the night. If I remember correctly, it's going to be the finishing results of the first race that get inverted. So the entire grid will get reversed. Whoever finishes last in the first race will be starting first in the second races. Is going to be 2 100-lap races. We will have stages as well. Points will be awarded as per usual. And there's a thing here that I know for a fact does exist in terms of how tonight is going to occur. So tonight's results, we will not be having the finishing results as expected, or at least the points results as expected, because of how tonight is going to go. So just because you finish first in the first race does not mean you are locked into the championship. That, in fact, means you are one step closer to getting first in the championship. It's going to be the average finish of both races for the night, and that is how the finishing order for both races will occur. So we'll see how things fare throughout the night. So hypothetically, you could finish, say, second in both races, but the person who finished first in the first race may not be locked in if they happen to run into any troubles in the second race. So we'll see how things fare tonight. It's going to be, again, a very chaotic night. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Ryan Lynch, who is just about to start his laps. In fact, just not pulling out of pit road. So Ryan's taking it nice and easy throughout this first lap. Let's see if he decides to push a little more for a second one here. Oh, he's about to back off for a second. He is currently 8th, about 1.6 or 0.163 tenths of a second behind Doug Pierce in 7th. So see if this lap does him any better here. Does he go higher on the field? No, but he did improve his lap time by about half a tenth. Travis Start just finishing up his qualifying. He goes provisionally 5th, and I say provisionally because here comes Michael Thorpe Jr. in the 34, finishing his first, actually no, starting his first lap here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Crosses the start-finish line. He'll go up to 5th. Remember when I said provisional 5th for Travis Start? Well, he just got shoved down to P6. Let's see if Thorpe can improve on his second lap. Just taps the outside wall. That might be enough to invalidate the lap, and it is. And just now starting his first lap is going to be Cameron Sarton in the number 1 machine. A notable name. Oh, no, never mind. I was about to say notable missing name was Brian McCann, but no, he is saying 3rd in the qualifying standings. So Sarton, first one, or 3rd to last to complete his lap. He'll go 8th for now. Switching over to William Duff. Where does he go? Moves up to 12th. Quite slow in turns 1 and 2, so we'll see if he's able to improve on his lap time. Sarton sliding off of turn number 4. Not able. Ah, no, there it is. Now it switches up to 4th for Sarton. And Duff will just finish his second lap time. He moves himself up to 8th. So that means with 2 drivers who have yet to qualify and 5 seconds remaining, that is qualifying for the race. Well, I should say race is, because we have 2 of them tonight. 2 100-lap races, and this one is going to be absolutely wild. I just realized as well, our starting grid is not going to apply for the first race as well, for the second race. So we'll hope everything works with little issue. First time going into this, so we'll see how things go. But regardless, starting on the front row is going to be Tony Brent alongside the 33 of Zachary Lovelace. And look at the gap between the two. It is just about 0.017 seconds between first and second place alone. Second row will hold the number 8 of Brian McCann, the 1 of Cameron Sarton will start to his outside. Both these drivers know each other very well by this point. And out technicality, the whole league knows each other well at this point, but semantics. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be Hunter Carson in the number 13 machine, and then Michael Thorpe Jr. will start off in the 6th place position to his outside. Round number 4 will hold both Travis Starr and William Duff. Both in number 26 and 17 machine, starting alongside each other here for 7th and 8th. Row 5 holds Jonathan Burt and Larry Griffin. They round out both of the inside and outside row for the top 10. Doug Pierce will start off in 11th. 12th place will be Ryan Lynch. And then 2 cars that did not set a qualifying time are going to be John Dart and Heberly Telemac. And that is the starting grid here for Nashville tonight. It certainly will not be the last time. So here, driver radio, probably someone stalled a little bit, made a little bit of contact on the way to the racetrack. 2 pace laps here, so a little bit more time and enough time for everyone to get caught up and sorted behind the pace car here. So let's see how this track handles, because it is this is not the correct units. There we go. It's 127 degrees, nope, 126 degrees for the track temperature, so it's just a little bit hot out here. Wind is 6 miles an hour to the north, 38% humidity, 86 degrees in air temperature. That is your Nashville weather report for the moment, but it's certainly bound to change here as we are about to go green flag racing here at the Nashville Fairgrounds, just to the end of the start zone. Effectively, green flag flies here at the fairgrounds. Oh, who would have thought that a little bit of microphone distortion and a bunch of loud engines would distort the microphones a little bit more than expected. It's so loud, even the microphones have no idea what to do. But regardless, it is Tony Brent leading after 4 laps already here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. But throughout the entire time, ever since the start, Lovelace, well, up until now, has been hanging tough on the outside lane. But Lovelace will make his way behind the 28 following the tire tracks for the 2nd place position. Meanwhile, on the outside back here is John Dart into the outside wall a little bit. The outside lane not treating him too well as William Duff will move his way up to the 9th place position. Crossover on the exit of turn number 2. Drag race into turn 3. John Dart not letting this 9th position go. And now Duff gets a piece of the outside wall himself. Does he cross over to the inside for the 9th place position off 2? No, he's not able to. Doug Pierce and Heberly Telemac side by side, and they make contact on the back straightaway. Is it going to be enough for a caution? The field has, no, oh, barely. There it is. It was a very, very late call, but a caution has come out. I was about to say they're at the back of the field and out of the way of the field for the most part, so maybe they would not get a call for the caution because they weren't in the way of the field. And then just as Ryan Lynch goes by, caution comes out. Of intrigue. Yes, that was thrown by iRacing, not by Race Control. So we'll see how things went here off of turn number 2. First caution of the day. And no doubt not the last, but unfortunately no more caution-free races for the past 2 races. Charlotte, we had a 1 yellow. And of course, we've just seen the incident here that, well, now we have our first yellow. So riding on board, Heberly Telemac in the 88 made contact with Doug Pierce off of turn number 2. Did Pierce just understeer or get loose? Telemac was trying to avoid the outside wall, it seems, but technically still had some space left. Riding on board from Ryan Lynch. There's Larry Griffin too, so that's also why the yellow was called, because both drivers were behind the incident. Well, back live. Pace car still out, but luckily because this is a literal short track, we shouldn't be pacing for too long. This field goes behind the front stretch grandstands. You can't see it from here. There we go. I was about to say, let's route on the pace car. The field will be in control of the number 20 of Tony Brent. Hypothetically speaking, you know what, we'll throw it up just for fun. Hypothetically speaking, this is how things would look if the points were being counted as of right now. I'm not sure why Tony Brent's not being shoved into the locked-in positions, but you know what? I think I have an idea as to why. I don't like the idea as to why. But regardless, green flag is back out. And Tony Brent leads the way. A great start on the inside by the 28 machine. Lovelace will be confined to the second place position for the time being. Off turn 2, a lot of drivers side by side, a little bit of contact into the outside wall. That was the 6 of Jonathan Burt who tapped the outside wall of turn number 2. They quickly get single file off of turn number 4. But look at Hunter Karsten on the outside lane. Wouldn't be the first time since we've seen him run up top here in the top 3 at a short track. Last time we saw him dominate the short track, essentially, it was around 5 flags. Stayed out front, 80 laps on his tires. More specifically, went the full distance without having to make a pit stop, but because that was the clash, that didn't count for the playoffs. It was a very good showcase of what he can do, so hopefully they'll be able to do make something of that here for tonight. Falls back behind the 1. Scrapes against the outside wall a little bit. We're going to be seeing that a lot tonight, is a lot of drivers just scraping by, quite literally, the outside wall, down the back straightaway, off the corners, what have you. Contact will be made with the wall regardless. Much like Darlington, it seems like it's more of a privilege to hit the outside wall at some point during the event. Watching the battle between Travis Dart and John Dart. Travis Dart on your left-hand side of the screen, John Dart on your right-hand side of the screen. You can see just how hard that John Dart is pushing, so hard that he has to fall back behind Travis Dart. Dart cuts off the inside lane, moves down to the inside. Well, Travis, more specifically, gets a little bit loose off turn number 2. Still holds on to it. already quickly approaching lap 20. Lap 50 will be the stage, and to my understanding, the stage is going to be counted as normal, but points will still be held off regardless, and I'll keep an eye on the race control feed just to be sure. So we'll see how things fare in the next few laps. But regardless, lap number 21 is on the board. And this is how the top 4 look for you at the moment. Being led by being led by Tony Brent, Zachary Lovelace in second in the 33 car. The 34, Michael Thorpe trying the middle lane to try and get a little bit of extra grip. Brian McCann in the 8 machine follows suit. Same with Cameron Sarton. It may not be too obvious, but Lovelace, McCann, Sarton are all locked in on the championship standings. In fact, I had a little bit of a look, and I'll see if I can get it up one more time, just so I can take a brief look here. Prime position to advance into the top 12 are a couple drivers. Ryan Lynch is in prime position to retain his top 12 position. He currently sits in 11th. Well, I wasn't wrong. He does sit 11th on track and in the championship standings coming into this event. And so we'll keep an eye on this battle for the 12th place position. That has sorted itself out. Doug Pierce, position 13 in the championship coming into this. Some notable names that are missing around the top 12 as Haberle moves to the inside of Ryan Lynch. Chris Chavez-Essery has not shown up for this week. Phil Chavez has not shown up. Neither have Jared Claude or Victor Fluger. They are in the championship standings 10th, 12th, 14th, and 15th. That is Essery in 10th, Chavez in 12th, 14th, Claude, 15th, Fluger. The drivers that are 11th, or the drivers that are below-ish the cut line, or around the cut line that are here, are Ryan Lynch in 11th in the championship standings, Doug Pearson 13th, 16th, Haberle Telemack, and then 17th, Larry Griffin, and John Dart 25th as well. So looking to gain some more points to edge himself a little bit closer as we see the 77 sliding off turn 4, just holds on to it. We'll fall back to 14th for the time being. We'll gather it back up and get himself going. We'll see how things go for the second 100-lap race, but to my understanding, the finishing results of this race will be inverted for the grid for the next race. That's not certain positions, that is the entire grid. And luckily for this being a short track, laps tick away very, very quickly here, so hypothetically we wouldn't be here for too long. The estimated time remaining at the current pace of this event, the pace that Tony Brent is setting. Oh, hold on a minute, it might get slowed down a little bit because of the 33 of Lovelace is absolutely destroying the rear tires on corner entry and corner exit. Especially through here, turns 3 and 4. He is drifting on corner entry, trying to defend second place from the 34 of Michael Thorpe Jr. Will he move to the inside? He does. There'll be a drag race off turn number 2, and now Lovelace is about to fall back a couple positions as Brian McCann moves his way to the inside. And McCann was about to make a move to the inside of Thorpe, decides against it. Now Cameron Sarton to the inside of Zachary Lovelace on the back straightaway. Into turns 3 and 4 they go. Trying to power through on the inside as Cameron Sarton slides just a little bit off turn 4, but gets the 4th place position. And, well, Lovelace has already been sent from 2nd to 5th. So the drivers that are not locked in running in the top 5 are both Tony Brent and Michael Thorpe Jr. Well, correction, not locked in on wins. And someone who wants to add a win to his list is going to be Brian McCann. I keep saying that. And yet the finishing results of this race are only partial to what will have for the second one. So the finishing results of both this race and the second race will then be averaged out. And then the average finish of both races will be the final points for, or the final positions for the entire event tonight. A very unique way of doing it. As opposed to just a straight 200 lap race. Well, I'll also throw a bit of a wrench into it, see who's the most consistent statistically. And why not do it at the Nashville Fairgrounds? Something very interesting as well. It's a little bit earlier, where it's a conversation that Tony Brent was having a little bit earlier. But Tony Brent had said earlier, I may have missed it, but if one of us trips and falls into winning that hasn't won, does winning either of the races lock you in? And of course, TriStar says no. It has to be the high average finisher to lock in. So theoretically, you could not win either race and lock in. And Tony Brent responds, this race was made for me unless the average is 1. And I'm screwed. Well, Tony's not wrong. The race is made for him. He's 1.7 seconds away from second place of Michael Thorpe Jr. And so far, it seems to be going pretty well for Tony Brent. Again, effectively the Mr. Consistency of this. In case being 100 and some odd points ahead of the cut line wasn't enough, you know what? Might as well lock yourself in too on the best average finish. So we'll see how things go for Tony Brent. Also see how things go for the rest of the field as well. Thorpe doing a very, very good job at playing defensive here for second place. Of course, the moment we go on board, I guess Brian McCann's watching our production feed somehow, decides, you know what, this is the best time to make a move. I'm going to go on board to look and see, hypothetically, what Michael Thorpe Jr. is seeing in his mirrors. And the caution is out, and it's the 88 of Heberly Telemac on the back straightaway. Second caution of the night. Keep an eye on Race Control's comments to see how things will fare for the stage points. We are not within like 5 laps, so we should be able to get back going in time. The second caution has come out. The 88 is now 1 lap down. And was it just a case of lost traction off turn number 2? This is on the front straightaway. Everything seems well and fine here. Through turns 1 and 2, corner exit, and yeah, it just looks like too much on the power, and just noses into the inside wall. Well, something very interesting is that pretty much the entire field except for Heberly Telemac is on pit road. 4 tires and fuel for a good majority of the field. They looks to be leaving in the order that they came in on pit road. Even I wasn't expecting that. No word from Race Control as well on the stages. or the completion of the stage, so it looks like we will be proceeding as normal. So a little bit of a shootout to the end of the stage. The only difference is no caution for the end of the stage. And there is the 77 of Larry Griffin. Just gets caught one lap down, I think. And yep, that does look to be the case. So in fact, Griffin may have been out of pit road just behind Tony Brent. John Dart also still in his pit box, probably repairing some, highly likely repairing damage from in the outside wall a few more times than expected. Lights not out on the pace car just yet. That should be expected for the next time around. So Heberly Telmack did not pit, and out of technicality in prime position to maybe get a point or two for the stage. Let's see how things fare on this restart. Should be 1 to green this time. The 88 is allowed to go past the pace car now. Larry Griffin will get sent to the back of the field. John Dart still in pit road, has not left his pit box just yet. It's going to be Tony Brent and Brian McCann bringing the field to the green on the front row. The pace car will pull into pit road and has done so. Tony Brent leads the field to the green once again, and the 8 of Brian McCann does not get going. I say that, but he's immediately able to fight back up on the outside lane. Maybe not, though, as Tony Brent will clear. And race control does say that stage points will be awarded in 2 laps. Well, here's the last chance for a lot of the drivers to get some extra points here. Points for the drivers that are locked in are technically null and void because, well, they're already locked in. So Tony Brent will get 10 stage points for sure. And it's going to be a matter of where everybody else is here at the start-finish line. We'll see how things look. So the start-finish line, well, off in the background, actually, that was Doug Pierce sliding to the inside. He holds on to it. Because it all happened so fast, we'll go ahead and read out the stage points. As we are now halfway through this event, the Team Watson doubleheader night at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and it still continues on. We'll still continue the battle for second place. Let's go ahead and read you the top 10, and we'll let you know who doesn't get points out of technicality for being locked in already. Tony Brent was first across the line. Brian McCann was second. Michael Thorpe Jr. third. Cameron Sarton fourth. Hunter Karsten fifth. Zachary Lovelace 6th, 7th was Travis Dart, 8th was Jonathan Burt, 9th was Ryan Lynch, 10th was William Duff. And because Brian McCann, Cameron Sarton, and Zachary Lovelace are all locked in, out of a technicality, at least in the points for the broadcast case, we don't count that because they're locked in. They have enough points as it is. So we will be adding those points in due time. In fact, we might just wait until after the race to look at the points because I'm not sure if those even count towards the end of the stage. But regardless, Tony Brent still continues to lead around the Nashville Fairgrounds. Brian McCann sitting, lying in the way in case anything does happen. But dare I say, Tony Brown has been so terrifyingly consistent. I'm not sure if anything drastic is going to be happening. Heberly Telemac went to pit road. That's the driver you saw diving into the pits on the front stretch. And Heberly did not pit on the yellow flag. Probably wishing now that 88 crew probably wishing, yeah, we probably should have brought down that car, even though we would have been one lap down. But live and learn, and we'll see how things fare for the 88 for the rest of the night. The night is not over. Let's see. Let's take a look and see if our points are playing nice today. That looks to be a no, which is the very annoying part, but on the bright side, it's a doubleheader. Ah, you know what? I know exactly why the points aren't playing along. And technically, this current race session is being treated as a heat rather than a race. The second 100-lap race that we're going to have, that will actually be counting the points. So we'll see how things go by the end of the night. But suffice to say, in case it wasn't clear enough, this is why we're not exactly tracking a lot of things tonight, or trying to get points done as quickly as possible. Post-race we will, and it will be on the community tab on the YouTube page for the end of the night. So while Tony Brink continues to lead around the Nashville Fairgrounds, we'll go ahead and go side by side and give the affiliate sponsors of the Full Send Racing Association a little bit of love as well. In case you have any interest in what you see as well, the links to the affiliate sponsors are in the description below. Keeping in mind, of course, they are affiliate sponsors for the league and not the broadcast, but still does not discount their support regardless, from Buck Haker, On the Throttle, and Team Watson Racing Setups. So, you won't miss any of the action as we will be going side by side.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
We are back live here at the Nashville Fairgrounds here for the Full Send Racing Series. The race is currently still underway, and it's the first of two for the night, and still continuing to lead the way, and has been for quite a while, is Tony Brent. Meanwhile, midfield, Cameron Sarton and Michael Thorpe Jr. are battling side by side for the third place position. Sliding off turn 2 is the 34, Michael Thorpe. He just holds on to it. I'll try and defend against Travis Dart for 5th, but no dice right now as Dart hits the outside wall, flings his car up a little bit, probably caught the opening actually. Now with 25 laps to go, suddenly everything started to kick off. Travis Dart trying to fight back on the outside lane, trying to make his way around the 34 of Thorpe, who drifts off turn number 4. Just trying to keep his car under control as best as possible, but those rear tires are absolutely alight. Now the 34 has Karsten to worry about. Well, maybe not. He's got his tires to worry about. Thorpe slides up off to the outside lane, falls back behind Jonathan Burt. Move the 34 all the way down to 7th now. His tires are absolutely, yeah, the tires are just shot. He's sliding out of every single corner now, and it's just not doing him any good. As much as it pains him to do, he's going to have to, the best option here is just to back off. Burt hits the outside wall off turn 4 a little bit. No harm, no foul, but at this rate, the best bet for the 34 is to slow down, keep those tires as intact as possible. They are way too hot, and they are definitely not asking for this whatsoever, although Thorpe is still sliding in pretty much every single corner. As much as it pains him to do so, they'll have to slow it way down. That's a better corner. It gives his tires a chance to cool down a little bit, but looks like he might be pulling into pit road. Yeah, his tires are way too shot, and I don't blame him. I would not be surprised if there's a change of tires for the number 34 here. And there is the leader. 19 laps to go here as we enter turns 1 and 2. Tony Brent encountering Larry Griffin, who slides way up to the outside lane. And there is the 34 of Thorpe. One set of tires later, decides, well, it's better to get a new set of tires. And look at this. He's about to blast right by the 28 of Tony Brent and put himself 1 lap down. Brent gives him the room. And away goes the 34. So if there's a caution, Thorpe is actually in a pretty prime position here. Brian McCann has, I was about to say in comparison, has fallen off the pace a little bit. He's at least a tenth behind Tony Brent in terms of lap time. In fact, last time by the start-finish line, it was a tenth of a second separating them. This time by it's 0.2 of a second advantage to Tony Brent. So at least on the short tracks, McCann may have met his match. Same with Sarton. Travis Dart lurking in 4th place as always. Karsten lurking around 5th. And there are now 14 laps to go. We see on the side of the car as well, the Feel the Force, Tony Brent, part of his team of G-Force Sim Sports. His teammate here for this race being, well, David McConnell, at least in the form of moral support. Not able to race, but able to be here in spirit is David McConnell, cheering on his teammate Tony Brent. Whatever these two have come up with, it's definitely working, that is for sure. Meanwhile, did Cameron Sarton slide to the outside and hit the wall off turn number 4? Because that's what I'm thinking. I heard a little bit of paint scratching. Some noises of the fenders being crushed a little bit. I do wonder. Let's see what the line was. He was way up high in turns 3 and 4. Maybe just a bad entry at turn 3. William Duff gets passed by Ryan Lynch. There's a 34 of Thorpe. He is still 1 lap down, so that's not necessarily forward position, but Lynch and Duff battling for position. That is for 8th on the racetrack. And William Duff slides off turn 4, just holds on to it, takes a unique entry into turns 1 and 2, entering low, just to keep the tires on the car. This is the closest battle on the track between the 3 and 17. About 5 tenths separate. And of course, right when I say that, they start to separate a little bit. Never mind, as Ryan Lynch is also having a few issues with turn number 3. So the grip in turn 3 is starting to really get to these drivers. The track temperature has gotten a couple degrees hotter, and the outside wall has maybe a few millimeters more paint than it originally had, thanks to the 3 of Ryan Lynch, who was into the outside wall again. 6 laps to go. Well, 7 laps to go, actually, for the 17 and the 3. The track temperature has increased a little bit. It is 128 degrees. And yes, that is Fahrenheit. Celsius, that is 54 degrees. Actually, that just went up. Now it's 129 degrees Fahrenheit, 54 degrees Celsius. Jonathan Burt trying to chase down Hunter Karsten. The 34 of Michael Thorpe saying, yeah, no. So 4.5 laps to go as we reach the back straightaway here. And Tony Brent has, I think, effectively led pretty much every single lap here. So Jonathan Bird trying to close the gap between himself and Hunter Karsten for the 5th place position here, especially in these last 3 laps. Usually I would say any point would matter, but this at this race any position matters, especially for the best average finish position. So we'll see how things fare. 2 laps to go for Tony Brent. So we'll see with this if he's able to lock himself in. He's taking it very easy into turns 3 and 4. At least that's what it seems like externally. And the caution comes out just as we were about to get the white flag. Was it the 6 of Jonathan Burt who has taken the tow? Well, I guess we're going over the schedule limit just as Tony Brent was about to... Oh my god, wait, pit road is open, I think. And Brian McCann and Cameron Sarton, as well as Hunter Carson, are the three that have gone to pit road. I was not expecting pit road to be open that quickly. Just as Tony Brent was about to take the white flag, caution comes out. I'll get a look as to why. It was the number 6, but it was off turn 4. So it's just this upcoming lap. I wonder what happened between... we had seen the 6, and then we looked away. Was it the lack of grip off turn 4? Was it the transition of the banking? That was just the transition. Oh, wow. Yep, that's why. And right in the racing line. And just as Tony Brent was about to come around, the caution comes out. Wow. Well, the 6th of Jonathan Burt is out. And the field has been shuffled just a little bit. Lights are still active on the pace car. And it seems to me... Oh, that's why I'm confused. The 34 of Thorpe has not been waved around just yet. It's going to go to the... He's not going to get waved around, actually. Very interesting. Well, lights are... still... Are they active on the pace car? If they're active... They'd be getting double file. Oh, no, okay, they are active on the base car. I was about to say. So, Thorpe does not get waved around. So, I think at the time of the caution, Thorpe may have made contact with something. How the wave runs work in iRacing. If you are the first driver one lap down, of course, you would be able to get the free pass. But if you even get so much as any form of an incident point, whether it's a 4X, which is car contact, a 2X, which is a loss of control or heavy contact with the outside wall, or a 1X being an off-track, which is into the grass or gravel, or even a 0X, which is just light contact with a wall or another car, any incident point, and you don't get waved around. So I wonder if that is what happened. Well, instead of 100 laps, they're going for 106 as of right now. And Tony Brent is going to lead the field to the green. 2 drivers had pit behind them, and that is, well, 3 of them actually. The 8, the 1, and the 13, and just like that, Brian McCann will dive to the inside on the fresh tires, and just like that, they make contact. Here comes Hunter Carson to the inside, followed through by Zachary Lovelace. Caution is out once again. Just before Hunter Carson was able to get to the inside. These two have pit the same lap. We have our second attempt now, and that is the cause of the caution. So we have our second of 3 attempts. Here's what happened on the back straightaway, and everyone just came together. Thorpe getting caught up in that. Doug Pierce is, oh my goodness, Ryan Lynch just appeared in the frame from out of nowhere. That's right on board with the 3 here on the restart. Oh man, he chose the lane and he stuck with it. He was kind of forced to. Let's try and board the 26. Yeah, definitely just a racing deal, that is for sure. And Travis Stark didn't do anything wrong, just had the lane there. William Duff didn't do anything wrong either. In fact, let's right on board with the 17. William Duff also another car to his inside, I believe, but that is utterly heartbreaking. Well, I wouldn't say heartbreaking, but I'd say a little bit disappointing in some cases. Lights are still active on the pace car. And the restart order is going to be... leader does have lane choice as well, which is going to be very intriguing. Usually we haven't seen that taken into... we haven't really seen that outside of Darlington, where the leaders utilize the lane choice. And even then, I think it's a lane choice on restarts rather than regular starts. So it's very rare to see leader lane choice. And I'd be very surprised if Brian McCann is actually about to choose the outside lane. Considering how firmly he's sitting up there. Oh my goodness. So Brian McCann has chosen the outside lane, left it open to Hunter Karsten, who would pit the same lap. Oh boy. Now, I'm not an expert, but I'm not sure if that's the right move, giving the inside lane to a driver that pit the same lap as you go. Put them on the outside lane and just go maximum defense and hope for the best. But I wonder if McCann is just counting on the caution. This is our second of 3 green-white checkered attempts. So we'll see if they can make it count. Brian McCann goes. Hunter Karsten does not get going on the inside lane. William Duff tries to fight back to the inside, or to the outside. Do they make it back through turns 3 and 4 cleanly? Here comes Lovelace sliding through on the inside. Do they make it to the white flag? It's being waved. Yes, they made it. Lovelace backs off. And it's going to be a battle for the second place position, maybe. But what a finish regardless. Brian McCann with a lane choice that actually worked out for him. He crosses the line first. Hunter Karsten second. It was a drag race for third, with William Duff ending out on top. Sargent fourth. Tony Brent fifth. Ryan Lynch, Travis Dart, Zachary Lovelace, Michael Thorpe Jr., Larry Griffin, Doug Pierce, Jonathan Burt, Heverly Talamack, and John Dart are the finishing order. And the reason we have to go through that so quickly is that the session is just about to switch over. I don't think we will be able to show the results. No, we can. Okay. Well, here is the top 10. And there it goes. And that's why we went through it so quickly. It's because of the dreaded session switch. McCann tried to get a burnout in right at the last second, but didn't work out in his favor. Luckily, after this second one, we will have a chance. And now is going to be a full field invert for the second 100-lap race. Of course, we have 5 minutes of warm-up in the meantime, which Brian McCann has very appropriately decided to utilize as a attempted drifting session to see if he can drift along the outside lane in turns 3 and 4. That attempt did not work. I wonder if he's going to try again. We'll see. That's exactly what he's trying to do, and he, nearly got it. I'd call that, I'm not a Formula Drift score, but I would give that maybe about 7 out of 10. That was a little bit better. I'd give that an 8 out of 10. Unrelated to his car number, but I'll give that about an 8 out of 10. Oh, is the same thing going to happen? Yep, pits the inside again. That's another 7 out of 10. I think that inside lane, the inside wall there is just not kind to him. Well, this is a very productive way to spend the next 2.5 minutes, and I think that's the best way to spend the next 2.5 minutes. It gives everyone a chance to just collectively breathe. And not only that, set up the spreadsheets for calculating formulas on how to exactly get the average finish of both of these drivers for both of their races, but it should be relatively easy. You know, with McCann attempting to do this a bunch, it gives me a thought now. The banking is too steep for him to get back going. It gives me a thought of, I wonder how likely it would be for drifting competitions just using existing cars in iRacing. Not add drift cars to iRacing. We have enough as it is, but using existing cars in iRacing to do some drift competitions. Because it seems like, well, in most cases, it might work out pretty well. We might have something here. Brian McCann has an idea, everybody. If I was Brian, though, I'd patent the idea as quickly as possible before anyone else stole it. That's a drift. I'll treat it as two separate drifts. That first one was really good. As soon as he straightened out, I'll treat it as a second drift. Could have been better. Never would have thought it'd be impromptu judging a drifting competition. Well, I call it a competition, but it's more just one driver drifting just for fun, as everyone else is just sitting in their cars, just probably watching, wondering what he's doing. It's a nice way to just de-stress and throw the car around the track just for fun. We will be going with our second race here in just under 45-ish seconds. As of now. So the second 100 lap race will be starting in about a minute or so's time, depending on how quickly everyone gets to the grid. But while we do have the chance to do so, let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings coming into this full event. More specifically, coming into tonight, not including the results of the previous or the just ran event. Brian McCann had 5 wins, 2 wins for Zachary. Well, actually, out of technicality, McCann still does have only 5 wins, and we'll get to that here in a bit. But Brian McCann, Cameron Sarton, Zachary Lovelace all locked in. Tony Brent being Mr. Consistency of the league, the first driver to be plus 100 points above the cut line. So suffice to say, even if he's not going to win to lock in, he is still very mathematically locked in. We are about to reach about, well, I think four races left in the regular season, which we also go to momentarily. But Tony Brent, Travis Start, Michael Thorpe Jr., Hunter Karsten, Chris Chavez Ezri, who is not here this week, Ryan Lynch, William Duff, Jonathan Burr, and Philip Chavez. Chavez also not here this week. Doug Pierce is here this week, so we'll close the gap between himself and Chavez. And more importantly, between closing the gap between himself and the cut line. Jared Claude, also not here this week, sits 14th. Corey Mower, not here this week, also sits 15th, tied with Haberly Telemac, who was here for the first event, but decided to pull the car behind the virtual garage after the about midway-ish through the first event. So that average will be sorted accordingly. But Larry Griffin is here this week, still running in this second 100-lap race. Brian Johnson, Victor Fluger, Trey Jackson, Dave McConnell, Daniel McConnell, Jeffrey Souza, all not here. John Darr is here, getting a few more points to his name. Andrew Medlin hasn't been here since Daytona, but suffice to say, he arrived, won, and with no libration, just left, apparently. Andrew Medlin sits 25th, and Andrew Littman sits 26th. I haven't seen Littman in a few races. But that is the point standings coming into tonight's event as a whole. The season schedule, there it is on screen. Mathematically, in total, not including tonight. We'll see how things go with the point standings after tonight. But for Bristol, Kansas, Sonoma, and Talladega, the drivers have a maximum of 50 points per race to earn. So first in the stage, first in the, first to win, of course. Not only do you lock yourself in, but you know what? Out of technicality, I would say 49 points available. No, correction. 45 points available to mathematically lock yourself in, not including a race win. So winning a stage and then finishing in second. So technically 45 points for the next 4 races. And that would be in total 180 points. So out of technicality, Tony Brent could just drop off the face of the earth and not get above the cut line. But it's Tony Brent. I think his consistency can be a reward here a little bit. So we should be going green shortly. In fact, we have come back at the correct time where Larry Griffin and Doug Pierce will be leading the front row to the green flag. End of the line for both the 6 and 93. Probably just a race with the order, but regardless, we will be going in green once again here.
Green flag.
For the second 100-lap race of the night. Green flag flies. And the field makes its way down into turns 1 and 2. We are already 3 wide. Thorpe nearly shot the gap through the middle, and he'll have to shoot the gap here because the 39 of Pierce is in the inside wall. There goes Sarton to the inside lane. And just like that, Larry Griffin slides off turn 4, officially gets that lap led. And we are nearly 3 wide. Once again, off turn number 2, it is Ryan Lynch in the number 3 in third. Doug Pierce has snuck his way up to second. Inside the lane, not really treating. Oh, correction, the grip for the 3 is not treating it too well. Slides to the inside, just holds on to it. No caution because of that save from Ryan Lynch, and a great save as well. He'll send him to the back of the field, but I'd rather be in the back of the field with hot tires. Oh, man. Rather than anything else, Thorpe is flying through the field. Now you're probably wondering, well, how is Thorpe up here? It is, again, a invert of the finishing order of the first race. And Thorpe is making the most of it here, trying to get his car up to the point. No doubt as quickly as possible, trying to get some laps to get himself separated. And we'll see how things go here. Entering turn 3, he does make the move to the inside on the 77 of Griffin. Griffin gives him the gap. Not able to get to the full inside. Will he make the move here, entering turns 3 and 4? Griffin actually going defensive a little bit. Slides, maybe just a little bit with the rear of the car, but holds on to it regardless. Although the huge run from 34 of Thorpe will end the lead lap run, or the run in first place for Larry Griffin, but still holding on to the top 3. Meanwhile, here comes Tony Brent trying to make his way through the field himself. He is battling the 93 of John Dart for the 7th place position. And just up ahead, Cameron Sarton and Doug Pierce battling side by side. Sarton gets by. McCann sends it to the inside of Pierce. And Pierce is drastically falling back on the outside lane. Tony Brent easily going to be able to get position here momentarily. John Dart had actually won out on that battle between himself and Tony Brent. But for how long is the question, I would say. And just like that, we are already 10 laps into this event. The second doubleheader. And Larry Griffin is now being very cautious, staying up on the outside lane. I will have to admit, surprisingly, a lot less chaotic than I thought it would be for this kind of a restart. Chaotic, but a controlled chaos, if you will. Griffin scraping the outside wall off turn number 4. Trying to start, slides up a little bit. Starting to notice that maybe the preferred lane / characteristic of the track. John Dart to the inside. Oh, surprisingly, Lovelace, that's who is missing from this. I was wondering what name was missing. Lovelace has, I don't think he's made to the grid. Might be having some secondary issues. But 33 of Lovelace has not started this event, so that is going to definitely play a huge factor here. But then again, he is locked in, so it won't matter too much out of technicality. Griffin and Karsten about to be battling it out here for the 7th place position. So officially we are down 2 drivers for this event. It is both Lovelace and Telemac. Of course, the timing and scoring doesn't exactly know what to do with that, hence the 2 blank spaces under the ticker, but regardless, the race continues on, and Hunter Karsten will continue into 7th. It's oddly quiet up here. I know it's a blimp camera, but I didn't think it'd be that quiet. But regardless, this is how the gap looks from up above between Michael Thorpe Jr. and Hunter Karsten. That is the visual gap of 1 second. The gap between Sarton, did I say Hunter Karsten? For second place, I meant Cameron Sarton. You see what I mean? This happens every week, unintentionally. For some reason, my brain just switches Hunter Karsten and Cameron Sarton around, and I don't know why. It might be the syllables. Somehow, Karsten and Sarton are similar enough for me to just have a Freudian slip, effectively, of how to pronounce their names. But regardless, you can see the gap as well between Sarton and McCann. That is a gap of about 0.3 of a second, 3-ish car lengths. If not 2.5, but that is the gap visualized. A little bit of a closer gap between John Dart and Tony Brent. Brent has gotten his tires under him. Is about to make a move up to 5th place. John Dart goes into the gap, moves up to the outside. He will still choose to defend off turn number 2, though. Trying to make the move as quickly as possible. On the inside is going to be Tony Brent. They make a little bit of contact. I think Tony Brent may have expected John Dart to move up to the outside just a little bit more than expected, but that was not the case. So a proverbial fight breaking out. Probably more than Tony Brent intended, but he did race in clean air for a good majority of the previous race. So I'll not be surprised if Tony Brent was struggling here in the dirty air behind the 93. will just make his way to the inside once again. Slides off turn 4, tries to squeeze the 93, who scrapes by on the front stretch outside wall, and that is the run that Tony Brent wanted to have when he made the initial pass side by side down the back straightaway, getting outbraked a little bit by John Dart, who's trying to run the outside lane a little bit more powerful, with a little bit more pace, I should say, than the 28, and it's proving to be successful. Albeit sliding a little bit, but these two are putting on a fantastic battle as they go side by side. We haven't really seen too many side by side battles that lasted a few laps. Last time we saw this, it was between Cameron Sarton and Brian McCann at Dover. At the start-finish line that time by was 28 Tony Brent, who slides up a little bit on his own. Tries to clear the 93, only does so, but 93 has that momentum on the corner exit, as well as just trying to bring in that momentum a little bit on the entry to turn number 3 through turn 4. And that time by the line, it was John Dart in the 5th place position. This is a fantastic battle. I don't really want to leave this camera because this is the best angle that we have of this battle. Just this one camera, just looking at the differences, the nuances of how these two drivers are battling side by side. Tony Brent slides off turn 4. If he just controls the car's slide off turn number 4, I think this time by it might be Tony Brent. No, never mind. Put it off by the inside lane. I think he made contact with the apron with left side tires, so that sends Tony Brent back to 6th. Now to try all over again. Larry Griffin and Jonathan Burt swapping positions. Jonathan Burt up to 6th. And oh, by the way, throughout this entire time, Cameron Sarton has caught up to Michael Thorpe Jr. Again, the stage ends at lap 50 for this race as well. Getting on a lot cleaner than the last one so far. I wonder if this race will technically restart our count for caution-free races if you do go caution-free. It is a doubleheader, and this technically is a second race. It just happens to be that the total scoring is meant more for an average finish. Someone who wants that better average finish, of course, is going to be the one of Cameron Sarton. Tries to make his way to the inside, halfway alongside, pulls the gap. Into turns 1 and 2 they go. Can Michael Thorpe pull the gap on the outside like John Dart has been doing? Off turn 2 they go. About 3/4 of the car length, although being outbraked on the entry turn 3 is Sarton, but not by much to get the gap. They're going to be very indecisive. Thorpe tries to look to the inside, decides against it though. He almost had it though, and I don't blame him for being a little bit confused. Do I stay up to the outside? Do I dive to the inside? And by the time he made the move, Sarton was cleared. Now Thorpe is going to defend against the 8 of Brian McCann. Again, it's the best average finish of tonight's events, where that is what the points will be based off of, I believe, for everything except the stages, really. To the inside goes Brian McCann. Travis Stark starting to catch up a little bit. McCann not able to stay to the inside, falls right back in line behind the 34. Might try the outside lane, actually. Unless he's going to try and switch back to the inside. He almost timed it perfectly, but timed it just a little bit too early. It's right on board Travis Starr watching this battle up ahead. Oh, and we saw that just as it happened. The caution, no doubt, is coming out. There it is. 34 pushing too hard, got loose, spun out to the outside wall. And that is a commentator's curse, to say the least. I just had to mention something about having a second caution-free race, and that didn't happen. No contact made by Travis Starr, just placed his car very well to the inside lane, and 34, the car just, the rear of the car not handling the driving style of Michael Thorpe Jr. as everyone is in pit road. Let's take one more look. Just pushed a bit too hard, but that happens. So let's see. Cameron Sarton off first, McCann second, Dart third, Dart fourth, out of technicality. Fifth place is Hunter Karsten. Tony Brent sixth, seventh, Jonathan Burt. Eighth is William Duff. Ninth is Larry Griffin. 10th off pit road is the 33. Then Doug Pierce and the 34 of Thorpe, who's repairing a little bit of damage, comes out of pit road in last. Well, not technically last, 12th place. So lights on the pace car are still active, so we'll take this moment to step aside for a temporary side-by-side.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Well, I did say it's temporary side by side. I didn't think it would be that temporary. Travis Dart and John Dart line up row 2. Cameron Sarton has chosen the outside lane for the restart. We'll see how things fare. It's another dash to the stage once again here. And everybody is going to be trying to make their way up through the field, gain a couple extra positions, try and gain a couple extra points for the drivers that are locked in. It doesn't exactly matter. The 6 just saves it. We caught the very tail end of that. But Jonathan Burt has saved it. And they will remain green. Let's see if Tony Brent can get by John Dart here off turn number 4. Approaching the last, I think, 3 laps of this stage. At the completion of lap 50, more specifically, so the top 10 will get awarded points. It's side by side between John Dart and Travis Dart for third. Tony Brent trying to close the gap here, trying to get himself in prime position. I wonder if he'll try and send it 3 wide. I'll have to wait and see how things fare. Final lap in this stage, and John Dart makes contact a little bit with Travis Dart. Tony Brent moves to the outside lane, says, oh, you know what, I'll just go here. He moves to the inside. It'll be McCann and Sarton first and second. Who will it be for third? I'll find out. It's going to be a drag race. So this is start-finish line. John Dart gets it over Travis Dart. Tony Brent not able to capitalize. Hunter Karsten, William Duff, Michael Thorpe Jr., Ryan Lynch, and Doug Pierce. round out the rest of the top 10. Now it's a matter of waiting and seeing how exactly the points will be handed out. I would think it'll be the same way, where the top 10 get points regardless of average finish. So far, that does seem to be the case. Regardless, this side-by-side battle in front of Tony Brent continues to kick off. Let's ride on board Tony Brent. These two are effectively at a stalemate. They've been running side by side pretty much ever since the restart. Tony Brennan is just saying, please, come on, one of you or both of you mess up so I can get to third already. Hunter Carson has other ideas in mind. He is closed the gap, or he has closed the gap. Just like that, Travis Start has made his way out in front of John Dart for third, but I don't think that'll be the last of this battle. In the back of the field for the 10th place position, Jonathan Berg gets by the 77 of Larry Griffin. Starting to slowly recover from the half slide that he had earlier on. In the meantime, I will do my best attempt at trying to get the stage points all set up and awarded for some of these drivers in the past two events. To see if we can get a better representation of where everybody was at. Actually, in fact, we should also... Well, I was about to say we should have live points, and we don't. dare I say, this is shockingly more calm than I was expecting. Of course, now that I say that, the universe is going to go, oh, you want chaos? All right, and then something's going to happen to throw that caution. That's usually how the commentary's course works out. Side by side between Jonathan Burt and Ryan Lynch. Burt making his way up through the field. Gets himself another position, slides off turn 2. Don't make it come true. Don't make it come true. And there it is.
Caution. Yellow
Yep,
flag.
there it is. Remember what I said about commentary scores? It just happened. Well, we saw it as it happened, and I prefer to move on from the commentary scores so that just occurred, so hopefully everyone's day is going well. I'll go with that. That's all I'll say. That is the most fascinating timing of commentator's curse. That did not even take like 15 seconds. Wow. Well, there goes everyone except Travis Stark to pit road. Very bold choice, I see, by Travis. I wonder what he has in mind. Probably banking on the tires to make it to the end. And I don't blame him. As we ride on board the pace car, we'll step side by side. We'll be back once we're about to go green. You can take a look on the left-hand side and see where everyone has sorted themselves out as we go side by side.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Oh, you're back a little bit quicker than expected. Just over 25 laps to go. Field in control by Travis Stark, who has chosen the inside lane for the restart.
Green flag.
Green flag flies once again here. Just like that, everyone kind of migrating up to the outside lane a little bit, unless you're both Travis Stark or John Dart. In this case, now it's Tony Brent who sticks to the inside lane. He'll try and make his way through. He'll have to move up to the outside lane pretty quickly, though, unless he wants to split 3 wide, which he does do so. 2 wide, actually. No, it is 3 wide. Karsten up on the top side. Contact is made. Trading paint. They nearly spin, and somehow all of them manage to keep going forward. Travis Dart is dropping like a rock because he did not pit. He has chosen to not pit for new tires, and just like that, Tony Brent has snuck his way now, finally, for him, up to 4th place. John Dart in 3rd, and for 5th place, it's still maybe the battle between Michael Thorpe Jr. and Hunter Karsten. 25 laps to go at the line here. Side by side quickly ends between Thorpe and Karsten, 34, back up into the top 5. And tentatively, this should be updated, and yes, it is. So, while this does not take the literal live points into account, it does take the stage points into account, provided, give or take, maybe one number off, hopefully, provided everything was calculated properly. But this is how things look as of both stages. So Tony Brent still leads the regular season standings, or at least the standings of drivers that are not locked in, by just under 20 points. Charles Stewart, Hunter Carson, Michael Thorpe, all in the now 300-point range. Suffice to say, I think they can relax a little bit, but I don't know if they really want to. William Duff at 262 points. Jonathan Bird, 248, 227 points for Ryan Lynch. That's 1 point, not including the I guess, average finishing positions. So Ryan Lynch may actually be further ahead of Chris Chavez and Philip Chavez. Doug Pierce may also jump the Chris Chavez and Philip Chavez in the standings as well, provided at the completion of this race. So I remember what I said a little bit earlier in the season, while it was only 1 point earlier on, it does matter, and that has collectively added up throughout the portion of the season. After this, we'll be halfway through the full season already, and it does not feel like it. We are 18 laps away from pretty much completing the first 10 races of the season, not including the Clash, of course. I still have 4 more races to go before we get into the playoffs, and it's going to be one heck of a ride to get there, especially with Talladega being the regular season finale, the last chance for a lot of drivers to not make it into the playoffs. And it's all just on from there. Next week we have Bristol, by the way. Night race at the last great Coliseum. It shows we'll have one week to prepare for that in 16 laps time. The front 2 runners are the same front 2 that we've seen throughout the good majority of the season so far. Arguably I guess the proper term would be winningest driver of the series so far this season is Brian McCann. You may have seen the positions change on the timing tower. That was William Duff getting by the 77 of Larry Griffin. For third place, we might see Tony Brent getting by John Dart here. Before the first caution and on the first restart that we had, Tony Brent was not able to get the pass complete. John Dart was able to utilize the outside lane to his advantage and power off the corner off turn 2 and then outbrake Tony Brent onto corner entry to turn 3. I do wonder if Tony Brent, what he'll do here in these last 12 laps once we get to the line. Last 13 laps, it seems. But Brent has closed the gap. Can he get on the podium once again is the question. It's all a matter of the average finish as well, and this is definitely going to help him improve. So long as he can get by that number 93. The 93 didn't have a good race 1, but considering this is his pace in race 2, shockingly, I think for Tony and Brent, at least in my opinion, shockingly for me personally, is that John Dart has competitive pace, and it has proven very, very well here. Ten laps to go as McCann and Sarton across the start-finish line. We'll keep an eye on this battle for third place. Tony Brent's right there, but of course, the tire wear and the dirty air from the back of the car is not helping too much. 22 laps on these tires for pretty much everybody in the field except Shatterstar, who has chosen not to pit. He's banking on a caution. The 26 still has yet to pit. He has been 49 laps since he has last gone to pit road. He's on the back stretch, and he does have enough time. He can make it to the end at least in 10th. But no doubt banking on the caution, hoping that a lot of drivers will decide to stay out here if we do get another caution, considering it's been only 23 laps. 7 laps to go at the line. And there's the battle for third. Thorpe lurking at the end of the top 5 in case anything does happen to either Tony Brent or John Dart. I could have sworn I just saw the 28 wiggle a little bit on turn 4. That might have been the case. I'll see how things fare for the 28 in these last few laps. This is out of technicality. I'm starting to notice I'm saying that a lot recently. Whoops. It's not even out of technicality. It's just a true fact. This is the closest battle on the racetrack within 3/10. Lap times between these two drivers, about a 10th advantage towards Tony Brent, but can he make that advantage up in these last 4 laps now that McCann has just crossed the start-finish line? We'll keep an eye on this battle until the last lap at least. Three laps to go at the start-finish line. Tony Brent is just lurking in the mirrors of John Dart. Hunter Carson, actually, about to also lurking in the mirrors of Michael Thorpe Jr. In fact, 0.2 of a second faster, I think, just a little bit, is Hunter Carson. Can he catch up in time to get a top 5? Two laps to go. The lead still Brian McCann. Cameron Sarton still second. I don't think any inroads are going to be made for the battle for third and battle for 5th, but we'll still keep an eye on it regardless. This time by it's the white flag final lap at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and something that Tony Brent had thought and hypothetically said he could have done is that it's what Brian McCann is doing. Not only finished first in the first race, he'll finish first in the second race. An average finish of 1 goes to Brian McCann. This 6th win of the season, I think officially, and contact is made after the checkers. John Dart finishes in 3rd, Tony Brent 4th, 5th place Hunter Karsten. There's the drift, and it's the drift run is dead. He hit the wall. But regardless, a very well-deserved finish by Brian McCann once again. This is why I said a consistent driver who is not locked in is Tony Brent and has still shown today. Oh my goodness, Larry Griffin has just absolutely destroyed the back end of the 17 car. Well, this time, we can actually look at the finishing results without them going away all of a sudden. What do you know? Brian McCann has finished first. Second place, good day for Ghost Racing. Cameron Sarton and John Dart finishing 2nd and 3rd. Tony Brent 4th, 5th, Hunter Karsten. Michael Thorpe Jr., both guarding. I'm seeing a very clear pattern already, but we'll get to this in a second. You might see it already. Both guarding all sport cars. Hunter Karsten and Michael Thorpe Jr. finishing 5th and 6th. Both on-throttle racing cars finishing 7th and 8th, being William Duff and Larry Griffin. And then we have both Ricky Bobby Motorsports cars, Doug Pierce and Travis Dart finishing 9th and 10th. I never thought I would see something like that. The only outliers are Brian McCann and Tony Brent, one of which not even on a team. Of course, the second one is on the throttle racing, being Ryan Lynch and a Very forgetful day for Texas Speed, finishing 12th, 13th, and 14th. So we'll see if we can get the top 3 average finishers. In fact, we might have gotten them already. That was fast. Yeah, we got that. All right, cool. So out of technicality, I keep saying that, not out of technicality, out of fact, out of the average finish for interviews, the top 3 are officially as follows: Brian McCann, average finish of 1; Cameron Sarton, average finish of 3; Hunter Carson, average finish of 3.5. And those are your official top 3 heading into the next event. So very good day for a fantastic day for Hunter Karsten, especially in terms of showcasing consistency. And if anything, a very good way, a very good concept as well for showcasing consistency as well for potentially maybe even other leagues, if anything. But we will get that added to our finishing results, at least in terms of our spreadsheet for keeping an eye on everything, and also go ahead and get an interview with the 3rd place finisher, that being Hunter Karsten, once we get him in here. Also, once we get his car back on track as well for a visual showcase of the number 13 machine, who, of course, deserves said visual showcase. And there is the number 13. When was the last time, just before we bring in Hunter Carson, when was the last time that we had spoken to Hunter Carson? I believe it may have only been, yeah, all the way back from the Clash. Wow. But since then, he's been consistent, and since then, the consistency has shown, definitely tonight. An average finish of 3.5 to you, Hunter Carson, gets you to the well, it says 5th on the graphic, but gets you the 3rd place finish overall for tonight's event. So, your thoughts on the doubleheader event?
I didn't know what to really expect going in tonight because this is my first race at this track. Very slick out there. Very fun to try to handle the car and whatnot, but kind of went in blind.
Going in blind to wait, so you didn't even practice this? Well, I mean, aside from the practice session, of course. So, well, I should phrase it like this: before the practice session tonight, you had not driven this car on this track.
No, never. This was my
Wow,
first laps tonight.
that is a bold decision, and I mean, hey, it paid off pretty well if you ask me. I mean, you've been consistently around the I'd say about average, maybe like 8th place, and that's just going in blind from the past race 1 to race 9. And we haven't really talked to you ever since, shockingly, since the Clash, when you won that after staying out on the same set of tires throughout the entire event. So this definitely helps you out in terms of points as well. I should double check that as we continue on, but a relief, I would say. You came into, in fact, as of the stages, you were 6th place with 308 points. So just firmly cementing yourself more and more into the top 12. And, well, next week we head to the Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights as well, a chaotic race in its own right.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm looking forward to Bristol, but I've had a rough past few weeks as being a driver. I've made too many small mistakes that have costed me decent runs. But Bristol should be interesting. I'm not great there, but I'm sure I'll lock into something again. See
As
how it
someone,
goes.
I was gonna say, yeah, someone who also sometimes partially does short track stuff. Yeah, Bristol also terrifies me. So I still haven't even run this week for our racing yet, and I probably should before I forget. Gotta get those credits.
I,
Uh,
I do too.
at least there's, I think actually this season, a little bit of insight to iRacing as well. I think this season is the one season where the amount of races you have to run is actually 9 weeks. Oh gosh, it is because yeah, the the fourth season is a little bit weird, but I'll explain that a little bit later. But before we go ahead and let you go, celebrate your, I guess, average third place finish, 3.5 overall third place. Go ahead and shout who gets it done for you for that number 13.
I'd like to thank 24 Social and 24 Speed. They're my main partners that have been with me for the past few years, as well as 213 Simware and a new partner, HC Sim Shots. They take good pictures, and yeah, should be it.
Well, thanks for your time. Good to speak to you again as well. We hope to talk to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, same to you.
That is third place finisher Hunter Karsten. I keep trying to backtrack myself with the phrasing. I'm not incorrect. He is the third place finisher, just an average of 3.5, which has thrown me off. Another driver who does have a average finish of just 3 points alone is this man, Cameron Sarton. I nearly said Hunter Karsten again. Why do you two have to have such similar names and finish pretty much like a second and third? It's been a weird season for me with both of your names, but regardless, you have showcased your speed once again tonight, Cameron, and well, you're back up here in second of at the end of the day. It's still weird with me saying second, but your average finish was third. But you get what I mean here.
Yeah, just didn't quite have tonight. I messed with the steering race and the brake bias the wrong way the first race, so made some good adjustments in the second race, and then just lost a little. I got behind McCann out of the restart and just didn't get a good run for four, and that was it for me. So I needed a long green flag run, what we were kind of getting there after the restart, and didn't get it, got another wreck, and he's that 20-25 lap run, he's almost unbeatable, and I just didn't feel confident enough tonight, so I left it out there, but just a little short.
And even still, second place, nothing to sneeze at. So still, of course, firmly locked into the playoffs with pretty much no worries in the world. But of course, go ahead and talk us through the tire wear throughout this event, because a lot of drivers, it seems like through turns 1 and 2, you're able to. It's not even able to run. It's more through turns 1 and 2. You kind of had to run about. Seems like a half lane higher for that inside lane, but in 3 and 4, you could run right up against the yellow line.
Yeah, it was a little funky, so I couldn't get the car to turn down like I wanted to, really in either turn, especially 3 and 4, and get the good run off without either wrapping it too much and then just burning the right rear off the turns. It was super easy to do that, and then if you didn't get the brake bias right, you would just slide into the turn. So, which is what I was doing the first race. Second race, I was a lot better. Just a couple, maybe another 100 laps to figure it out. So at a third race, I think I would have got him. But yeah, it was weird. You kind of really make time anywhere. You just kind of had to get into rhythm of um, the pace you wanted off the corner, and messing with your throttle. So, but oh well.
Of course, the rhythm sometimes very rudely interrupted by whoever decided to place the outside wall right there instead of maybe about, I'd say, 3 more inches to the right. But still a good finish regardless for you. Still a good night overall for you. Next week, we head to Bristol. What are your thoughts on the pretty much another short track, more of a bowl, if anything?
Yeah, it should be a good race. I don't know. I haven't raced there in a while, so hopefully it's you can make both the top and bottom work on the set we got, rather than just kind of be the top side. It'll be tough there. Saving the right front's pretty crucial there. If you burn that up the first couple laps, and you get a 50 lap run, you're going straight backwards. So It should be interesting, and hopefully we can slice and dice and have a good race there.
Hopefully that will be the case, and well, you probably already know what I'm about to ask you, but I'm still going to ask it anyway. Well, not even ask it, but go ahead and shout out whoever gets it done for you for that number one.
Yeah, no shout-outs tonight. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to
So,
say.
mom, dad, grandma watching, yourself up in the booth again. Travis and John finally was able to show up with his work schedule, so he was. I finally had a teammate to talk to tonight, so that was fun. I wasn't just lonely, so shout out to him for making it, and we'll see you next week.
And we will indeed go ahead and see you next week. That is second place finisher Cameron Sarton, who terrified me for a second of making me think that he actually had no one to shout out. And the one driver who is apparently just always full of surprises. I don't even know if it's full of surprise or anything. I'm not sure how to phrase this exactly, but another win on the board officially for Brian McCann. Win number 6. Technically win number 7, I guess, but regardless, it's still a win. And Brian, this is what I mentioned earlier as well, is that Tony had a comment earlier saying, asking how the average finish would work, and then he said, this race was made for me unless the average is 1. And, well, you just went out and made the average finish of 1. So it's just full of a lot of dominance today. The track seemed to work pretty well in your favor.
Yeah, I got real lucky on that first race. So let me tell you about Tony. He had that thing figured out, and he just kept pulling away from me on that first race, and I hate it for him. He come around there and the white flag was waving, and then the caution came out. So that was horrible luck there. But that helped us move up a position. And last race here, I don't know. Track changed a little bit, but I think it changed into my favor, and just I don't know, went from there.
Yeah, as of right now, I'm not sure if it's because the cars haven't been out on the track for a while, but as of right now, the track temperature is 109 degrees Fahrenheit. During the race, I had looked a couple times. It was about 100, almost 130. The highest I had seen was 129. So a very slick track, regardless. And the tire wear, especially as on the little slow motion recap that I have showing, is unfortunately demonstrated by the 34 of Thorpe and a couple other drivers that had slid up to the outside.
Yeah, that tire wear. I guess maybe it was the track cooling off, like you said, because that was a whole lot easier on my right rear, and that just helped out greatly. Being able to get on that throttle, because I remember in the first race, I wasn't. There was a point where I was never getting full throttle on the front stretch because you just couldn't handle it. So that's how loose it was.
We head into Bristol next week, and something that Cameron Sarton had said in terms of tire wear is that for that track, well, once you burn up the right front, it's pretty much done for, unless you have a very quick caution. Unless you have a caution as quickly as you burn up the right front tire. So 2 lanes to work with for Bristol. So what are your thoughts as we head to the Lost Creek Coliseum for next week?
Oh yeah, I like Bristol. I think it'll make a little bit better race than this track. This track was definitely a one-line track, but Bristol, you can move around a little bit more with that extra banking. So that'll be a pretty fun race. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, you also know the drill by now at this point. Before we go ahead and let you go ahead and shout out who gets it done for you for that number 8.
Yeah, my family, everybody that helps out in this league, league admins, race control, drivers showing up every night. You for doing the broadcast, sponsors, and everybody watching. Thank you.
Thank you for your time as well. We hope to talk to you again next week.
See you.
And that is the number 8 of Brian McCann, as always, as ever. Apparently, dare I say, unstoppable. And that's quite terrifying to think about. But we are going to go ahead and sign off. But before we do, this is a look at the race that we have for next week. Not only is it Bristol, but it is also Bristol Under the Lights, the last great Coliseum with 225 laps on tap. And no, that is not a typo. It will be, let me double check just to be sure, because I could have sworn. It is 225 laps, so it's the Bristol 225, about the Bristol 225. Wow. Tripping over my words today, apparently. The Bristol 225 presented by On the Throttle. That's probably where my brain was trying to trip up there. Stage ends at lap 125 there, so it would be, if I can do quick math enough in time, it should be a 100-lap dash to the end once the stage is completed. So that is what we have in store for next week, and probably next week, if not tonight. Yeah, we would say next week, if not tonight, then on the community tab of this YouTube channel, then we will have the points all up and ready for you to view and see where your favorite driver is, and for drivers to check in on where they are at. So that does it here for the Racing Line Network. That does it here for the Full Send Racing Association. The second half of the season begins next week at Bristol. See you then.